What's up, my Century Units? It's the Centuryman here, so back again with another WCW / NWA pay-per-view review. So, staying in 1989, so I'm going to review the one and only Chi-Town Rumble 1989 at the UIC Pavilion in Chicago, Illinois on the 20th of February 1989. The attendance for the show was 8,000. Chi-Town Rumble 89 received about 130,000 pay-per-view buys. Jim Ross and Magnum TA are the commentators of this show. Magnum TA, he was a former professional wrestler. He was the next potential star of the NWA / the future WCW. Unfortunately, his career was cut short. He suffered a car accident. It's a shame. I don't know much about Magnum TA, not familiar of his work. On this show, he was good. He's the color commentator. Jim Ross was he's the play-by-play guy. But with Magnum TA, he's kind of like a prototype version of Mike Tenay. This is like in the 90s in WCW. Basically he's analyzing the wrestler's background, talking about the wrestler's moves. I think he did a good job. I'm not too sure this is his one and only time as a color commentator for Magnum TA. Maybe he did another show. I'm not too sure. But this is a trivia. Magnum TA is the stepfather of Tessa Blanchard. And Tessa Blanchard is, she's the daughter of Tully Blanchard in AEW. I think he's left AEW. I'm not too sure. Maybe work behind the scenes. So that was some trivia. Magnum TA is the stepfather of Tessa Blanchard. And speaking of trivias, this is the one and only Chi-Town Rumble in NWA / WCW history. And this show is memorable for the main event between Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. We'll get to the main event later on in this review. So the first match to kick off Chi-Town Rumble 89, we got Michael P.S. Hayes taking on the Russian Assassin 1, or just the Russian Assassin, with Paul Jones in the corner of the Russian Assassin. At this moment in time, you can tell the fabulous Freebirds are taking a hiatus. They end up reforming. I'll get to that shortly. You can tell Michael P.S. Hayes, the future Doc Hendricks in the World Wrestling Federation, he was kind of pursuing a career as a single star. Anyway, so the match was shit. And by the way, this is the only worst match on the show. I'll get to my final ratings of the show at the end of this review, by the way. Anyway, it was a boring match. The whole bulk of the match was a lot of rest holds. I get it's 1980s wrestling. People complain about today's wrestling. It's all flips and dives. But I think I prefer wrestling in the 90s, 2000s, and in the current day. It's more fast paced. Back then it's a bit, too much rest holds. Sometimes rest holds kind of bring down the quality of the match. That's my opinion. Anyway, so the whole bulk of the match, you had P.S. Hayes locking in a armbar onto the Russian Assassin. In the end, it was not really that great, not really enjoyable and flashy. In the end, like I said, P.S. Hayes got the victory, hit the Russian Assassin with the DDT for the win, and moving on. So like I said, the Freebirds was reformed later on in the year, with P.S. Hayes reunite with Jimmy Garvin and Terry Gordy. Terry Gordy is the late father to Jesse and Festus. This was a tag team in the late Ruthless Aggression era and the beginning of the PG era of WWE. And Festus is the future Doc Gallows, Luke Gallows, in TNA / WWE, New Japan, and AEW. I don't know. I think they're in Ring of Honor now. I'm not really sure. Anyway, so it's a bit of a trivia and a side note. So next match we got Sting taking on Butch Reed. The late Butch Reed. I think he died. I think he died in recent years. I think he died in 2020, 2021. With Hiro Matsuda in the corner of Butch Reed. Butch Reed was part of a tag team called Doom with the future Black WCW World Champion Ron Simmons / Farouk. That would be in like 1990 with that group with Teddy Long in the in their corners as their manager, and also a woman that is Nancy Benoit. Anyway, so Hiro Matsuda. Hiro Matsuda is a former professional wrestler from Japan. He is notable for training wrestlers, notable names like the Great Muta, Bob Orton Jr., the father of multiple-time world champion Randy Orton, his son, Lex Luger and Hulk Hogan, and yeah, Matsuda injured Hulk Hogan's leg in Hogan's first day training as a pro wrestler. Yeah, he did came back, and the rest is history. He became a megastar in the 80s and the 90s of in the professional wrestling boom periods in those 80s and 90s. Anyway, so the match between Sting and Butch Reed, okay match. It was a bit better than the opening match, but that's not saying too much. Nothing important. In the end, Butch Reed going for like I think he was going for like a trying to roll up Sting and trying to do it like a dirty pin, like grabbing one of the arm on the ropes, and then Teddy Long kicked Reed's hand off the rope. Sting rolled him up with a sun flip roll up for the victory. And then afterwards, Reed and Sting fight, and then Sting stand up tall. At the same time, Sting was a mid-card. He was not quite the main event player yet. He got some exposure at the previous year's First Class of the Champion show when he competed with Ric Flair for the world title in the main event at the First Clash. And then Sting went on to become, a multiple-time world champion in WCW and then TNA, winning his first world title the following year in 1990. So, anyway, the Yamasaki. Actually, I'm gonna talk about the Yamasaki Corporation. I'm gonna talk about right now. But the Yamasaki Corporation. It's basically the former Four Horsemen. I think that at this moment in time, the Horsemen was disbanded because at this moment in time you had J.J. Dillon, Anderson, and Blanchard left the company. Because J.J. Dillon and Anderson and Blanchard end up going to the WWF. Anderson came back the following year in 1990, but the Horseman was officially no more. Yeah, they kind of rename it as the Yamasaki Corporation. Very forgettable history of the Yamasaki Corporation in the chapters of the history of the Four Horsemen. People talk about different versions of the Four Horsemen throughout throughout the decades and different companies that in, like whether it's the Horsemen in the 1980s or the Horsemen of the 1990s and WWE's version of the Horsemen that is Evolution in the 2000s and TNA's Fortune faction in the 2010s. People not really talking about the Yamasaki Corporation. Very forgettable chapter in the history of the Four Horsemen. So moving on to the next match. This is one of the best matches of the show. In the top 3 in my opinion. This is a 6-man tag team match. We got the Midnight Express. That is Stan Lane, beautiful Bobby Eaton, the late Bobby Eaton because he died the previous year in our current timeline in 2021. And Jim Cornette taking on the original Midnight Express. That is Randy Rose, Jack Fitchery, and Paulie Dangerously, aka Paul Heyman. By the way, Jack Fitchery was filling in for Dennis Condrey, if that's his name. Heyman debuted with the debuted in the NWA the previous year in 1988. Brought his original Midnight Express with him. Like I said, Randy Rose. But don't get me wrong, he's not the father of Mandy Rose in our current timeline in WWE. They both got different names. They both got surnames. I know Mandy's real surname is Sacramento, but her ring name, they both got Rose in the last name. Anyway, so Heyman brought the original Express to the NWA to compete in a way antagonized the Cornette's version of the Midnight Express. So yeah, like I said, Condrey was filling basically sorry, Victory was filling for Dennis Condrey. I think there was rumors like he got I'm not too sure. Maybe he got hurt, or there's major rumors like he took a night off. I don't want to get into it. I don't really know. No one knows. Anyway, this was fun. This was a fun 6-man tag team match. And by the way, this is a loser leaves town match. So if either one of these teams get pinned, one of them must leave the NWA. Sorry, I'm stumbling. My apologies. Yeah, like I said, one gets pinned, they'll be out in the NWA, aka the future WCW. It was a good match, Heyman and Cornette, and by the way, they are future wrestling promoters, because Jim Cornette, end up forming Smoking Mountain Wrestling. That's Cornette, and Heyman will be part of ECW in those early to mid 90s in pro wrestling. They did got their moments they kept it short, not the match, but them limited in the ring, because Heyman and Cornette, they're not actually trained athletes, they're basically managers. And also, before they start this match, Heyman grabbed, dangerously, so I'm going to call him Paul Heyman, so Heyman kind of grabbed his t-shirt, he sneezed on it, and threw it onto Jim Cornette to really antagonize him. And also Jim Ross, I don't really talk about commentary that much. He kind of really takes shots of Paul Heyman. They end up part of the commentary team in the WWF in 2001. He said he's really criticized Heyman's attire. He's wearing a pink shirt and a white trousers. He said he just came out from entering and came out of a baby shower. Anyway, so the match was really good. Yeah, Heyman and Cornette, they had their moments in the ring, like I'm trying to say. In the end, Randy Rose is the person who got pinned, and I think it was a 15-minute match. It was what it is. Yeah, moments. It was not going to be like a high-fly spot fest, but it was a fun match. What it is. The two managers was limited in the ring. They didn't take the whole match. You had the two Expresses carry Heyman and Cornette to a good fun match. So this is not the end of this was the end of the original Express, by the way. Heyman dangerously end up bringing up the Samoan SWAT team, runs the future Rikishi, to take out Cornette's Midnight Express. They kind of continue throughout the rest of the year, not rest of the year, but later on in 1989. I think they had a tuxedo match, between Paulie Dangerously and Jim Cornette. So, like I said, it was a good match. I really like it. Some parts were a bit boring, but it was an enjoyable match to watch. A popcorn entertainment match to watch. So the next match, this is for the NWA Television Championship. You got Rick Steiner defending the belt against Mike Rotunda, former members of the Varsity Club. The Varsity Club is, it was a group in 1987, 88 with you had Mike Rotunda, you had Rick Steiner, you had Kevin Sullivan, the future Taskmaster in those mid-90s, mid to late 90s WCW, 95 to 97 WCW, feuding with Hulk Hogan, and Dr. Death Steve Williams. Steiner was part of that group, but he got sick of it, and he left the group. And by the way, Scott's, Rick's brother was in the corner of Rick Steiner. And by the way, they are fathers of the future wrestlers in today's pro wrestling. So Mike Rotunda is the father of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas, and Rick Steiner is the father of future NXT champion in our current timeline, Braun Baker in NXT 2.0. Why did they just call Braun Baker Braun Steiner? Don't know. I don't want to get into it. So the match was good. It was a technical style match. Some parts will get boring, like I said, with the rest holds. I get it. It's 1980s wrestling. I get it. but it was a good match, you know. And then you got like Kevin Sullivan came out, basically distracting Rick Steiner. Says, you know, you had a beautiful dog back there backstage, you know, referring to Spike. I don't know who his Spike is. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's their version of Matilda. You know, because the British Bulldogs in the World Wrestling Federation had Matilda the Bulldog, and the Steiners got Spike. So anyway, so in the end, this is a bullshit finish. So Steiner locked in the sleeper hold onto Mike Rotunda, and also this is kind of bullshit. And the referee, I think that's Teddy Long, did the 3 count, and Mike Rotunda won the NWA television title. Basically said to like Rick Steiner that his shoulders was down. So bullshit. I think Mike Rotunda will become Captain Michael Rotunda, and you know, I think Mike Rotunda ended up dropping the TV title to Sting, and that was Sting's first title. I think it was his first title in WCW or NWA actually. It will become, you know, NWA will become WCW. So it was just a good match, but that finish was just like really hate to quote the Miz, man. So the next match, this is for the NWA United States Championship. We got Barry Windham defending the United States title against the Total Package Lex Luger. Future, already former members of the Four Horsemen. Right now it's the Yamasaki Corporation. So this was a good match. This match was short. I think it's one of the shortest matches on the show. I think it was 8 to 10 minutes. So I like this match. One more of the match. Basically had Windham trying to go with the claw onto Luger. But he ended up injuring his hand. He was going for like a punch. Luger near the ring post. Luger got out of the way at the last minute, and then basically Windham injured his hand in the process. This is like a Mongo Bulldog standard, you know, a decade prior, because you know, I hate to bringing up, you know, Mongo Bulldog match from Super Bowl 8 from 1998. So you know, both like injure their arms in the ring post in their matches. So I think this match is way better than Mongo and Bulldog. You know, it's not Bulldog's fault. It was Mongo. He's just not that good as a wrestler. Anyway, so in the end, another bullshit finish. So basically, Windham, he did like lock in the claw onto Luger, but his hand was sore. Kind of didn't really got the strength to lock it completely. In the end, like I said, bullshit finish. You know, Windham hit Luger with a suplex pin. And instead of Windham retaining the United States title, he lost the United States title to Lex Luger. So what the fuck is this? Bullshit finish. Vince McMahon will fucking cringe his pants. Will basically jizz his pants, yeah, if you see this show. But holy fuck. So and afterwards, you know, you had not Luger. Basically, Windham got his heat back, hit the power driver onto Luger onto the United States title belt, and that was it. So Luger went on to, he ended up dropping the United States title to Michael P.S. Hayes at the Wrestle War pay-per-view, the first one in May of that year. Go and check out my review of Wrestle War 89. It was the last show I reviewed on this channel. And then, yeah, he ended up regaining the United States title back, like, that was in a house show in May, So moving on to the next match. So the next match, this is for the NWA Tag Team Championships. We got the Road Warriors taking on the other members of the Foster Club. That is Kevin Sullivan and Dr. Death Steve Williams. Okay match. Wasn't terrible. Wasn't great. Nothing important. It's similar to the Sting match from earlier. Nothing important. And another bullshit finish, I'm trying to say. So, here's another bullshit finish. So, basically, you know, the Road Warriors was going for the Doomsday Device. I think they're trying to hit the Doomsday Device on Kevin Sullivan. You know, you had Steve Williams, chop block, Animal. I think you had Hawk pinning Sullivan, and Williams pinning Animal. And Who's the Legal Man, and the Road Warriors retained the NWA World Tag Team titles. So yeah, what the fuck is this? So, and by the way, they end up dropping I think the Varsity Club went on to become the basically it's vice versa. I'm trying to say the Varsity Club went on to drop the United States Tag Team titles. I don't know who. I think it was Eddie Gilbert and I can't remember. Write down in the comment section below to jog my memory. They ended up dropping the United States Tag Team titles and also winning the NWA World titles to when they beat the Road Warriors. I think it was at the Clash of the Champion show. In my knowledge, I think it was the Clash of the Champion show, and that was the help by Teddy Long. And Teddy Long ended up becoming fired from his role as a referee, ended up becoming a future manager, and not just in the NWA/WCW, but in the world, in WWE. You know, in those early to mid 2000s, before you become the future SmackDown GM. Holla, 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 player. So moving on to the main event, folks. We got Ric Flair defending the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So Ricky Steamboat made his return to the National Wrestling Alliance after spending years in the World Wrestling Federation, competing in first four WrestleManias. One of them had a banger against Randy Savage at Mania 3 for the Intercontinental Championship. So he made his return to the NWA in late '88, and then in his first match back, he beat Ric Flair in a tag team match to face Ric Flair on the show for the NWA World Heavyweight title. This is between both lifestyles, because both lifestyles are different between Flair and Ricky Steamboat, you know. Because I said in my review of the first Spring Stampede show, Flair is the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing son of a gun. He lives the playboy lifestyle. That's Flair. Steamboat is the family man. You know, he cares about his family. So, and this is match of the night. I really like this match. Back and forth between Flair and Steamboat. One more of the match, Flair was going for like a move up the top rope, a crossbody, but Flair countered into a roll up for the near fall. You know, Flair does like really cross bodies or moves off the top rope very rarely. I think the last time he did that was Carlito at Unforgiven in 2005 for the Intercontinental Championship. Well, I might review Unforgiven 2005 in the future. So anyway, I really like this match. You know, you had Flair locked in the figure four leg lock onto Steamboat. I think Steamboat reached ropes. Yeah, there's moments like one of them like clothesline each other out of the ring. I'm trying to keep it short and simple. So in the end, there was a referee bump. Steamboat going for the hit the crossbody onto Flair. That led up to a referee bump. In the end, Steamboat rolled Flair with the small package to win this match and become the NWA World Champion for the one and only time. So it was good. I thought he kind of like made Flair submit. I think it was at that Clash of the Champion show, the following Clash of the Champion show. He did that. You know, he did that. It's funny, like he did that submission hold, and then that led up to that, and ended up like not winning the world title at Spring Stampede. Go and check out my review of Spring Stampede '94. But no, it was a small package that helped Steamboat win the world title against Ric Flair. So I think like that was it. This was the beginning of Flair turning babyface. Like I said, the Yamasaki Corporation was really forgettable. And this is the start of the rivalry between Flair and Steamboat. Like I said, it continued for the rest of 1989. So they fought in the 2-hour-3 pinfall match at the following Clash. And then at the first Wrestle War show I reviewed last time on this channel, Flair regained the NWA World title. Then they had the renewed rivalry in 1994 at the first Spring Stampede show. Look it up, you know, on my channel. I did both shows on this channel. Go and check it out. And the 1994 match they had, that was basically, that was Steamboat's last time to have one sniff of the world title before moving on to the mid-card title belt, that's the United States title picture, and then he retired in 1994 due to a back injury, so. Anyway, it's a real shame that Steamboat never won more world titles. He only won one in his career. Like in the WWF, he only won the IC title, the only title he won in that company. He never won more titles ever again. You know, it's a shame. I think he's a good worker. Maybe I'm not too sure he's won a TV title or the United States title in later years in WCW before he retired in '94. He was in this feud with Rick Rude. So I'm not really too sure. You know, he's a good worker, man. He should have won more titles, but I don't know. Maybe it's timing. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. You know, otherwise it'll be a very long review. So anyway, so my final rating for the one and only Chi-Town Rumble show in NWA/WCW history, I give it an 8 out of 10. This was a strong show, man. Strong show. You know, I give it 8.5 out of 10. You know, it's fair. Like, the only match in the bad has to be the opener. You know, Michael P.S. Hayes versus the Russian Assassin. And also I'll put the bullshit finishes in the tag team title match, the TV title match, and the United States title match. You know, it was shit. Why they did that beats me. Don't want to get into it. You know, like I said, Vince McMahon will jizz his pants. You know, watching this. But the only thing in the OK, the two matches in the OK was Sting versus Butch Reed, and also the tag team title match between Road Warriors and the Varsity Club. You know, Kevin Sullivan and Dr. Death Steve Williams. Like I said, okay match, but with that bullshit finish. But on the flip side, in the good is the good. I like the 6-man tag team match, you know, the battle between the two Midnight Express. I like the most of the Luger and Wyndham match for the United States title. I like the most of the TV title match between Rick Steiner and Mike Rotunda, and also I really like the main event between Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. So yeah, I suggest watching Chi-Town Rumble on the WWE Network around the world if you got it. Watch the 4 matches I mentioned. So anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my review of Chi-Town Rumble 1989. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the bell, click the like. Subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time in the WCW/NWA pay-per-view review segment, we're going 10 years later to the year 1999. The last 1999 WCW show I reviewed was Uncensored 99. It's one of WCW's last good shows before they went absolute downhill in their popularity. We're going to the second half of 1999. You know, this is technically Vince Russo's second show as the head writer in WCW. His first one was Halloween Havoc 99, but you know, he really got his hands on in the era of Vince Russo. You know, let's review the world title was vacated. They did, you know, this one show was it's all about a world title tournament. I'm gonna review the first Mayhem pay-per-view. That is Mayhem 99. So this is the Central Man official sign out. Check you later, folks.